One of the first things after getting an adventure bike is to find places where to ride, right? When I started, after checking out the local trails, I found TET or Trans-Euro Trail. And then after some while riding on TET, I wanted to find some new routes. And then I started to ask around to local riders to give me some GPX tracks, and also started to make my own, free drawing on a map, like a new GPX track, or just wandering around with my motorcycle going into dead ends, just hoping to find the best possible route. That is all fun, like I still enjoy it, but sometimes you have just 2 hours and you just want to jump on your bike and enjoy the ride. And that is when I found out about Stegra, which is specially made adventure motorcycle route planning tool where you just basically decide where you want to go, and after a few seconds it will just give you a ready route that you can ride straight away. And after trying out the app in Romania, Greece and now in Latvia, I think it would be great to have a conversation with them, why they started this and what are really the options, because I have only touched the surface with navigation options on that app. So yeah, my today's guest is Niclas from Stegra.io, and this is Part-Time Nomad podcast with your host Einar. Let's start the episode. Niclas, welcome.
Thank you.
I have a little, like a game, not a game, but basically like a 3 tricky questions that I didn't send you beforehand, which
Okay.
I kind of like to get to know you a little better, but they're like quick questions. You just answer like with 1 or 2 sentences quickly on these. So basically the first one is 3 things that you always take on your adventures, except the motorcycle.
That I always take with me on my adventures. I haven't ridden alone yet, so I always ride with a couple of friends. So the main thing is actually Alex in the team. I always bring with me because he's the gadget guy. So he
Okay.
packs tire fix applications, all the necessary tools and everything. So yeah, right now it's Alex, and I need to learn from him what I need when I'm going alone. So that's the
Okay.
first thing. But usually water is necessary. I always take a spare tube. Yeah, I think that's the most important for me, and a credit card.
Yeah, it sounds like we all need Alex with
Yeah,
us
yeah, it's
sometimes.
great to
Yeah,
have an Alex with you. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
a really convenient thing to have a friend who's always like
exactly.
with all the gadgets and with all the things necessary for any
Yeah,
situation. So the
yeah.
next one is 2 words that would describe your riding style.
How should I describe it? I think I like the technical stuff, so maybe technical. I like the slow pace, the tricky. I think I'm actually more of an enduro guy at heart. So I like
Okay.
the technical slow stuff over hills and stuff like that. So technical and how should I say, childish maybe. I like to do some wheelies and stuff from time to time. Uh,
Okay,
so yeah,
that's good.
fun and technical, I should say.
Fun and technical.
Yeah.
Cool. That's good. And then the last one, one bike that you would like to keep in your garage forever, but it can't be your current bike.
Ooh, that's a hard one. I think I still have a great love for the Triumph Scrambler 1200 XE. I like, the old 60s. I've always been into 60s cars and stuff and the
Yeah.
culture. So I really like that appeal of the 60s motocross style bike, but yet with the modern application, good engine. And so the first thing that comes to mind is the Scrambler 1200, I guess,
Yeah.
right now.
What bike do you currently own?
I have a T7.
T7. Oh yeah.
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 Which I love. It's a great bike. I love
It,
that bike. So
it's a great bike. Like I think on during the Outdoor Scouts, like you can see that there is Teneris and then there
yeah,
is like 2 other bikes. It's just
yeah,
like
exactly. Yeah,
and it's like that wherever you go. Like I
yeah,
went to Greece and as well. Like you meet up with people. Like most of the people are with like Teneris. So yeah.
yeah. But it's a bulletproof bike. I liked it because it's plain and simple. It's not a
Yeah.
lot of electronics. I really like that. You get it's not the most powerful
Yeah.
engine, but you get the feel directly from the hand on the throttle to what's happening with the rear wheel. I really like that, and as I said before, I'm pretty much more of an old school guy. I like the
Yeah.
simple stuff should just work, and Tenere is that. So
Yeah. I would say yeah, it's not the most fun bike, but it's like
no,
really reliable. It's like it's simple, reliable,
yeah,
always there for you. You can but then when you start to twist the throttle a little bit, you get the fun out of it as well. Like
Yeah, exactly.
there
Yeah,
is
yeah,
some, yeah, there is some heart in that bike as well. Like it's,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's not
Sometimes
hard.
you need to slip the clutch, but
Yeah.
then you know you have to slip the clutch. So yeah,
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun with that, and as well, like when you try to ride harder terrains with that bike, it's just yeah, it gets more fun to do it with like a
yeah,
heavier
yeah,
bike than enduro bike. It just like adds a bit of fan factor, at least for
yeah,
me.
absolutely.
So yeah, you're from Stegra. You're from
Yeah.
Stegra, but how did it all started for you with like navigation beforehand? So like before Stegra, like how many years have you been riding before that?
I have been riding motorcycles for about 10 years now, but
Yeah.
adventure bike, I bought a T7, which is my first adventure bike in 2021. So it's
Okay.
not so long I've been riding adventure bikes. Um, but yeah, it started around there. I really wanted, me and Alex from the team, we used to build muscle cars, then we got into street bikes, then we built bobbers to ride on. But then we always had that urge to ride, more outdoor, more adventure, unpaved. I used to ride motocross when I was little, so I always had that
Yeah.
in me. So I looked at a couple of bikes. It became the T7, a good choice for me, and he got the KTM 890R, and we started riding. Said to ourselves, wow, good. We have bikes for unpaved roads. Let's just get out and go because we live
Yeah.
in gravel paradise, Sweden. But it was hard to find continuous unpaved roads. So we used a couple of different applications to try to create routes.
Yeah.
I'm not going
You
to
use
name
that?
drop.
Did you use the TET at the
Yeah,
beginning?
yeah, yeah.
I think
So we
that's the
used that.
most yeah, the most popular route. Is like when you get into adventure riding, you try your
Yes,
local ones and then you get a TET and like ride it. And then you when you're
exactly.
done, you're basically like, what else? What else is there? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that. And we had the TST, which is a Swedish variant of, or local variant of TET
Yeah.
with a lot of routes. So, but that was also, you need to get a hold of these GPX files. We need to find those, get in the right groups, connecting with the right people, trying to build our own in different applications using different layers. So it was quite a big of a hassle. And we just want, we have families, full-time jobs, and the weekends when we go out riding, it was more searching for roads than actually riding good roads. So that was kind of hard. And if we fast forward a bit, I um, I went to buy a friend, Jimmy, who's in the team, and showed him my T7. He didn't have a license or anything, but he fell in love, always wanted it. So he bought a T7 him too. And we started riding together more in this group in 2022. And as he is a really good software developer, he also recognized this hassle. We struggled very much together to find these types of roads that we want to ride.
Yeah.
So he started it in his at home, started coding, doing some stuff to what eventually became Stegra.io.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, like when you're like he was the first person who was like like there is always a guy in the group who's
Yeah.
yeah who's reliable for the navigation and yeah who's more into it and he's
Yeah.
always like, planning like even without like talking without Stegra like there's always a guy who's like getting the GPXs and like looking at the
Yeah.
maps and trying to figure out where you can go
Yeah.
through and what would be good to test out and to ride there and then somehow he got into the programming part, yeah. So
Actually, Alex, the gadget guy, was also the GPS guy for us with the
okay,
routing. But Jimmy saw that here's an opportunity. There's a hole in the market somewhere here because this should exist. So that's when Jimmy came in and started programming what later became Stegra.io.
yeah. Can you describe like for the listeners what is Stegra? Like what's the difference from like Stegra to TET or Stegra to like I don't know Osmand or something similar to that people
Yeah.
use in navigation?
Yeah, so Stegra.io is a route planner and navigation app both on web and iOS and Android. And it's a route planner and navigation, but what differs it is that it's totally niched into adventure riding and riding on unpaved roads, curvy roads, twisty, scenic roads. And what we aim to do is to make it as simple as possible with the right technology to give us more riding, more time in the saddle, so to say. So
Yeah.
it's very focused on. We have no focus on hiking, biking, cars, or anything like that, although some use it for it. Our niche is adventure riding, and we try to make it really good to get the riding experience come first, to ride these roads simple, and not spend too much time routing.
Yeah. So basically, like me, anyone basically can get the app, yeah, or like go on the website and you just put in like the dots and it connects basically, yeah, the
Yeah,
dot, and it
yeah.
uses artificial intelligence, basically AI, yeah, somehow to plan it or
Uh, no, not in that way. It's algorithms and stuff that creates this, but not AI as Chat GPT AI.
you
So,
write the text. I want
but
the coolest road in Sweden from my
exactly.
house to yeah to the
Exactly. But it's really smart, and we always try to optimize it to make it really fast. It should be a great experience to do the routing and the navigation. So you can, select adventure mode if you want to ride on unpaved. You can set the point basically how far away you want, and in a click you have a route to be ridden in how
Yeah.
many days or hours you want.
Yeah, so basically, like how to, for someone to try, when someone trying out your app or
Yep.
the website planner, like what is the best way? Should he go to the website first and plan the route, or just use the app, or
I think you can choose what suits you best. Some like to sit on the desktop computer and route, and some like to use the cell phone. So whatever you like, you can start with.
yeah,
I think the best way to start is to check out our tutorial quickly on YouTube, just to get a quick hint of what it's about.
yeah,
But as I usually recommend people to do is, whether you use the web or the app, just select the route mode you want, set the point, and start ride.
yeah.
For the web, obviously, you need to save it, and you can just pick it up in the app. But just
And when you
set the
save it,
point.
it comes out as a GPX file, yeah, basically.
Yeah, you can export it as a GPX file, but we have you total full sync between the web and the apps. So that's also a good point, because one of our, when we started writing, we need to figure out, okay, what's a GPX file? You shouldn't need to know that if you don't want to.
Yeah,
So that's also a thing with Stegra, that if you just write Stegra, you don't have to worry about GPX.
yeah.
But of course, you can export GPX, you can import them. So we have support for all of that as well.
Yeah, because I remember, when I started writing, like GPX file, like the first time you hear that word GPX, and it's like,
Yeah.
what the hell is that?
What? Yeah.
Where should I put it? And you're like me, I like the only navigation what I have used before was like Google Maps, Waze,
Yes.
or like TomTom's, like the navigator back in the day.
Yeah,
Basically.
exactly.
And when you get the GPX, you're like trying to open it with like Google Maps. Like I didn't have many friends around who are
No,
doing the same
exactly.
thing at
Yeah.
the same time, and only after a while you meet up with other people doing the same thing, and you're like, what the hell should I do with this? And you go on the Trans Euro Trail website and you download it,
Mhm.
and you're like, yeah.
What to do about it? Yeah.
So basically, that's what you should do. It you can upload it to your favorite GPX reader. That would be, I don't know, Osman, Locus, and
Mm.
you can
Mm.
upload it to Stegra as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the
You can
cool thing,
upload basically like a TET route.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you can import the GPX from TET into
Yeah,
Stegra, both in the apps and on the web. And a
yeah,
cool thing in Stegra is that we calculate unpaid percentage on these GPX files.
yeah,
So when you import it, you get, for example, 67% unpaved on this segment of the TET route.
yeah,
And we also import in the Studio 2.0 on the web. You can import, and we separate the routes in the GPX files and the point of interest, and you can click and select what you want to import. So
okay.
that's pretty cool.
So you can import the TET and you can see like the paved, unpaved parts, yeah, of it.
Yeah.
Can you actually like that was just a thing that came up in my mind
Mm.
right now, like talking to you. Basically, like, can you do it in a way like you get a TED, basically you get a TED GPX on your on Stegra app, and can you stretch it somehow? Basically, like you're going, you for example, if you want to go to, you're going riding TED, but then you want to go to some place, basically, I don't know, a hotel or something, which is like
Mm.
30 kilometers on one side, basically, of the TED. Can you somehow include it in the TED, or you have to make a new route?
No, you can absolutely totally edit the full
The
route.
GPX as well, yeah, you can just
Yeah.
kind of
Yes.
drag and drop it, because
Yeah.
like the thing is like with me, I have tried Stegra, like
Mm.
I have tried it, I have done it like the basic way. I haven't had the chance to like go really into it
Yeah.
like deeply. I can see that there is like many things, even like like when you start riding and checking the Osmand or something like that, that was same thing. It was just like a learning curve for me,
Mm.
like a lot of learning, because it's so different than Google Maps and everything that is used to a
Yeah.
regular people. And so yeah, I tested in Greece. Like I tested
Mm.
to ride it. Like the things what I noticed that like if you go on the agricultural route, like
Mm.
if there is agricultural land basically somewhere, I started to basically skip these sections with like straight lines. Otherwise, it kind of brings you in a loop with the going through the vineyards basically or things like that. Because it
Yeah.
prefers twisties, right? It prefers twisties and gravel. You can
No, you
obviously
have.
adjust it, but that's for the off-road mode. Like the
Yeah, so you have different route modes. So for adventure mode, it will prioritize unpaved roads,
yeah,
and you can choose to maximize unpaved to make it really aggressive. And then it will be very aggressive towards unpaved
yeah,
roads. So when you start planning and doing, longer trips, maybe you use adventure mode for some
yeah,
parts around these areas. Okay, maybe I should use the curvy mode for this.
yeah.
But then again, we really like this feedback also, but because that lets us, since we have created the algorithm, we have full control and we can optimize it for with the user feedback. So
Does the app know the elevation in some way?
yeah.
It does now, yeah. Because
Mm.
basically, like the thing what I had in Greece, like I was going in the like through the farmlands, and
Mm.
that kind of it brings you like in a zigzag way, obviously, so it's more fun. But then after
Mm.
a while, if there is like huge place with agricultural land, so you
Mm.
get tired of that. And then I just change the route to either straight or the twisties.
Yeah.
And when you get to the mountains, obviously it just works perfect.
Yeah.
Over there, it just
Yeah.
works
Yeah.
brilliant. Yeah, it just gives you so many options. Obviously, it can't know that like the Strega it sees the paths as well. Yeah, basically, it can see the walking paths in a way for
Uh,
off-road mode.
Yeah, we are aware of them, but with the adventure modes or the motorcycle route modes, we do not route on walking paths
Okay.
or such, because we want to make sure as much as we can
Yeah.
that it's allowed and suitable for
Okay.
motor vehicles as motorcycles.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Yeah, then yeah, because I had like one or two situations when it kind of brings you in the. It's not really a bad thing. I really enjoy it. Like
Mm.
it bring
It's
me like
relative
in
to
the
what you like.
you
Yeah,
got the fun part, like the same as
yeah,
you're riding TET or something. You go, there is gravel roads, that, and then you have the one part which is like kind of really difficult, and you get
yeah.
through it, and you're like, oh, this is the most amazing part of the whole day.
Mm.
That is what you remember from the day.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
kind like there was two situations where it bring me. One was like crossing a river through some sort of
Mm.
bushes, but I can see that there is like some sort of road-ish, something like a tractor
Mm.
road going through.
Yeah.
And another one was like going downhill,
Mm.
and that was pretty steep, and I didn't risk that one. But it basically like I could see that there is like two parts basically for a car going
Yeah.
down. But yeah, it was really steep. So, but still, yeah.
It's
Still,
part of the
you turn
adventure
around,
also.
you
Yeah,
go around. It's like it's good to have these parts. Yeah, it's good to have them. That it makes it all fun and worth it if you do it. And if you chicken out, you can still like tell friends that oh, I chickened out. It was so difficult
Ex
that.
exactly.
Uh,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so, yeah, is there like any tips, any other tips on how to get most of out of the app, basically? Of
Yeah, absolutely. I think the great thing is to actually use the adventure mode or the curvy mode, depending on what you like, at a great extent. So keep, between the route points or the waypoints, whatever you want to call it, uh, pretty far distances because it choose quite fun routes and often roads that you haven't ridden before because uh, the algorithm is pretty smart. Another good thing is that we have on the left click on the web, but if you just click on the map on the apps, you get a shortcut to Google Street View. That's a really comes in handy when you're routing, especially if you're routing into unknown places.
Okay. So it's basically like on the Stegra app, you can click on the, but you have to have the route already planned, and then you click on the route, and you can see the.
No, you can right click wherever you want on the map, and you can always go shortcut to that location in Google Street View.
Okay, cool. So
So
let me
that's pretty cool.
anywhere on the map, yeah.
Yeah,
Um, oh yeah. Oh, oh, this is cool.
yeah. But the great thing with that is when you're routing, I had one guy asking the same question, how to do you get started? I'm going to go abroad. I have never been there. How's the roads? And that's a perfect example when you can use that is when you see the unpaid part start, okay, maybe it's good to check Street View because I'm not really sure about the local laws and regulation. How does it
Yeah.
look? Like that. And you can always double check. Okay, it's fine. It should looks fine to go
Yeah.
there. So that's pretty neat.
Oh, this is really useful actually, because usually what I do, like if I'm navigating or like on any app,
Mm,
I'm basically like if I see a tricky section that I'm not sure of if I can navigate through there, I
yeah,
usually go and find like manually find the place. Basically, I zoom
yeah,
in the map, Google Maps, and next to it, basically like the other like the other screen is the normal map, and it's
yeah,
like
exactly.
yeah, this
Yeah.
is this is really useful actually. Like it's actually a lot more useful than I don't know. Like it's just yeah, it's
Yeah, we try to,
amazing.
this is the thing, we try to package it,
Yeah,
for the niche for us adventure riders to get the most out of it in one place, easy accessible.
yeah,
So I'm glad you like it.
yeah.
I use it a lot.
This is a game changer for me at least. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I use it a lot. Like I used to check it a lot,
Mm,
and yeah, it just makes it much easier. You don't have to zoom in, look for like copy paste. You
exactly.
don't have to hustle around with these things and.
Yeah.
Any other things like this that a normal user probably miss. Probably many things that you know about the app
Mm,
are like they are kind of like in your muscle memory, you know them, but
yeah.
and it's probably difficult for you to get them like straight away out the things that I might not know. But yeah, if I
Yeah,
have
exactly.
that in mind,
Uh, that Google Street View is really good. And as I said before, it's good to know that the adventure mode um, only aims to roads that allows motor vehicles, which is quite great because I see a lot of other apps are made for hiking or biking, and we have to listen. You don't really know if this is okay.
yeah,
We can never guarantee it's 100% okay because we rely on map data, which may or maybe not be updated correctly, but the
yeah,
majority is. So that's quite good to know. You can trust it very heavily. Um, so use that. And in the web app, a good thing to know is we have shortcuts. So when you get experienced, you can change route modes, you can change map layers with shortcuts on the keyboard.
yeah.
That's a pretty good thing to know. The
Is there
3D map,
actually returning to the roots, like the regulations, basically, like how does it does it know like if there is like restricted areas? So in some country, is there a way? Yeah,
yeah, yeah. If so, the route engine adapts to the different map data from for different countries. So if there are regulations that are mapped in the map data, we will take it into consideration. So so
yeah.
often it does a very good job.
And private properties. I don't know, like in Latvia, it's quite a common thing that you go on a gravel road and there is like a sign. Like some
Mm.
of the signs, they are kind of they're basically made up by the owner. Yeah, they're not
Ah,
really by law there, but in that case, you kind of can avoid it, but no one will be happy about it. But that's like, yeah, that's probably a thing that you can't really. check
No,
with the app. Yeah,
it,
if it's not really registered sign, street sign, then
no, if it's if a owner on his own just put it up sign and no one reports it to OpenStreetMap, we can't know about it either. I'm afraid.
oh, so there is a way basically you can report it to OpenStreetMaps. Yeah, you can report
Yes.
like road closures and things like that, and then
Everything. So we base our map data is based on OpenStreetMaps as
yeah,
most of the other apps, and that's the coolest thing about OpenStreetMaps. It's that it's crowdsourced with information, so anyone can create an account and update
yeah.
map data with roads, with signs, prohibited signs, and such. So
And
that's
that kind of gets updated real time, basically. Like if I go and update that on OpenStreetMaps, then that can show up on for you basically on the same day, yeah, or
Not in real time. We could update it in real time, but it's very costly. So
okay,
right now we update it once a month, around the 7th every month.
okay.
Yeah.
And how is with like the paths? For example, like some countries they allow to ride. Like in Latvia, the regulation is basically it it has to look like a road. Basically, it has to have
Mm.
two parts like car parts. So it's a natural. I don't know the meaning of it in English basically, but there is like a way how to describe it, like the
Yeah,
legal
I understand. Yeah.
description of the road. Basically, it's like a path in the woods, but with two tire
Mm.
marks.
Yeah.
Then you can ride it there. But when it's like single track, it's illegal.
It's about
How
the same in Sweden, actually.
is it like countries where basically like single track is legal? Like I
Yeah.
think Greece is like that you can ride
Mm.
single track. They don't really have many regulations for that. Does it
No, exactly.
in that country? Does it use this single track for navigation as well? Or?
That depends. I don't know exactly in Greece and how that's mapped in the map data. But if it's motor vehicles allowed, it should allow it.
Yeah,
It depends how it's tagged, so I can't answer it directly. But we take the allowance of motor vehicles very much into consideration
yeah,
um, to not promote illegal riding. For people to feel safe and trust the system.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like like with Stegra for Sweden, you have a lot of private roads, right? Yeah, like there's
In
lots of
Sweden?
lots of
Yeah.
private roads and
Yeah.
lots of dead ends, I presume, and things like that. So this works quite great that you can avoid
Yeah.
the in a way. Did you have to like basically for each country, like each country has some kind of quirknesses of or weirdnesses of like route planning. Did you have to adjust that for any kind of use for different countries?
Not much, I should say, because the map data carries a lot of information.
Yeah,
But of course, we urge people to give us information where we can optimize and make it better.
yeah,
But right now, Stegra is used the whole of Europe, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, USA, and it works really great.
yeah,
But we really want the feedback to be able to optimize it even further continuously.
yeah. Basically, how to practically do it. Basically, if I'm riding somewhere and if I see that the Stegra planned the route through something
Mm.
that which is not rideable, I can go on the app. Yeah, so I have the app here. So
Yeah. So right now we don't have a report functionality like
yeah,
that, but it's in the backlog, so it's prioritized for this year as soon as
okay,
possible. But if you have feedback on these types of things, we really welcome people to contact us via email or our Facebook group,
yeah,
Discord group, so we can understand more. Um,
okay, cool.
so we have done a lot of optimization uh, on people's feedback like this.
Yeah.
So that's very needed.
I think it's really useful when people who are using it like gives the feedback and then it can
Yeah.
become a better thing for all of us to use, and
Exactly, and that's the thing. I often say we do about 90%, 85, 90, 95% on user feedback because we have a strong thing in the team. We are four riders, we have 4 different perspectives, but there are thousands of perspectives and local perspectives.
Yeah.
So we really need the feedback to be able to make it better
Yeah.
all along. So we do, 95% of everything we do is on user feedback. So that's what makes this so good.
Yeah.
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 So we
Obviously,
create the
like
core.
with a team of four, you can't all go to like every country in Europe
No,
or
we can't,
abroad and like
unfortunately.
pick
Maybe later.
each road and everything. And that
Exactly.
would be that would be a mission for 100 plus years,
Yeah,
definitely.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be a good road trip, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bucket list thing. So
Bucket list
maybe one
trip to
day.
pick each and every road in the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, what are the best practices for using the app? Like, do you need to use internet whilst you're using it?
Not for navigating. You can use download offline maps both for iOS and Android.
Yeah.
For route creation right now, you need internet access, but that we will deliver that in an offline format going forward also. So offline, no issues.
Okay. And then, for example, like if you're going like if you have one route planned, basically you put in from place A to place B, you can adjust it on the way. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
going. You feel like I got bored of like straight road or
yeah,
twisting. I want to go off road now. Then you can just like change it
yeah,
over, and it will readjust. You just need the internet to basically
yeah.
replan the
Yeah,
route.
exactly.
Uh,
Yeah, so you can do it in a couple of different ways. Either you can add a lot of different routes on the map in the app, and when we have a quite smart turn-by-turn direction system is if you have a route that just goes straight and then you have one that goes left, if you go on the straight one, you get turn-by-turn for that one. But as soon as you enter another one, let's say you go left to another route on the map, it will start give you turn-by-turn on that. So
yeah,
you can, create a lot of different alternative routes that you add to the map. That's one way of, trying different things out. Or you can use recalculation, which not sounds like fun, when you're riding adventure riding and
yeah,
it gets you on highways. But since we have the route modes, it will if you have an adventure mode on and you're going on your route and you get tired of it, now I take a left here and try this one out. In 15 seconds, Stegra will recalculate with adventure mode new unpaved roads
hmm,
back to your destination. So that's also one cool thing to do, and I use it a lot myself when I'm just out weekend riding. Then I just
yeah.
set the point somewhere far along, use the recalculation, and if I see a cool path or a road in some way, I just ride it because I know it will find new roads to me
Yeah.
for me to the destination.
So basically, it replans on the way. So
Yeah,
like if I just wander off on my own way somewhere, it
yeah,
will keep like basically a road towards the
yeah,
destination that I want to go.
yeah, exactly. And of course, you can edit. You can stop and drag and drop the
Yeah.
route if you want to also.
And
So
that's
yeah,
doable for the phone as well. You can just press the route and like drag it, yeah, on the sides, or how does it work?
mm,
Actually, I didn't try it. Like I didn't thought that it's possible because usually it
yeah,
isn't. But there is no usual, like it's a different way of navigation as well, I think. Yeah, it's
yeah.
usually I'm used to GPX files. I'm like kind
Yeah,
of,
exactly. Yeah, but you can stop and you can, move route points and such. Not exactly in the way on the web, but you have for the iOS version and the new Android version coming up, we have a way that you just click on the route and you can change and you can zoom in and place it in a good way.
yeah,
So it works really great. And
yeah,
yeah,
that's quite cool. And
yeah,
that's the thing that yeah, that's an interesting thing for me as well. Like when I'm going somewhere, like oh yeah, I just want to replan it.
yeah,
And because sometimes yeah, like if you know the area, you get the route, like you plan the route, and then you think like, okay, but I like everything else, but I just want to go to that place where I know there is like that sand road, which is great
mm,
area, for example, and just add that in the road, but do it
yeah,
on the way, so it's do it on your phone, so it's quicker and easier, and yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Is there a difference between like the iOS version or like the Android version, or like which one better to you? Like, many adventure riders we have like I do use iPhone on a daily basis
Yeah,
as
yeah,
phone, but then I use Android tablet like the Samsung Galaxy Active Tab
Mm,
for navigation because like Androids they have more apps basically for navigation.
mm.
I had to buy into Android system only because for navigation basically, yeah. So
Yeah, exactly.
or what would be the differences for like is there a difference at all like using
No,
like the
no, no, basically not. I was thinking about this on the last question because we have right now we have a pretty updated iOS version with the new user experience that has not come to Android yet, but it's coming in, I think, 2 weeks or so. So the difference can be sometimes that some features are available on Android and will come a couple of weeks after to iOS or yeah. But essentially, we build in the same to be experience the same, have the same functionality and such. But some can be a couple of weeks after each other sometimes.
yeah. But if you want to get that Zen perfectly planned route, then probably the best option would be to go on the computer, yeah.
Not to get this, yeah, it's easier, of course, if you're gonna spend, uh, a long time
But
planning a
that would be
very detailed route.
yeah, if you're planning like the perfect weekend with your friends, basically, or like the
Yeah,
round the world trip, and you're like you want to get every detail right and like every like
yeah. I would use the on the computer, but you can do it, of course, on the
yeah.
phone. But it becomes different with a small screen and such.
Yeah.
So, but it's possible.
Yeah, obviously, like to plan it, like if you're planning in advance, then yeah, maybe like the
Mm,
desktop option would be better. But then, like on a daily basis, like if you're traveling somewhere, like what
yeah,
I did, like I had the days in Greece that I didn't have any plan. Basically, I have like,
yeah,
oh, I just need to go somewhere, camp somewhere,
yeah,
ride somewhere, and just yeah, and put in Stegra, like plan the route, and perfect. You get
yeah,
the
exactly.
route, yeah. It brings you to some like interesting places, and yeah. You
Mm,
never know where you're gonna end up.
no,
Yeah,
and that's adventure. Yeah,
yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's really
yeah,
fun. Like with the riding TET or like similar like pre-planned routes. Like
mm,
that the guy who's planning it, it will have some maybe some views or some things. But
mm.
with Stegra, it's like you never know. But you still
No,
have the same thing. It actually felt like the human have planned the route for me.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
on that
yeah.
route that I planned. Yeah, it felt like it's your basically like you're going. Sometimes when you're going on TED, you have the easy way, then you have the difficult part, then you have the scenic part.
Mm,
Yeah, it's kind of like it goes in a loop.
mm,
You have that a bit of everything, and there as
yeah,
well. Like it was kind of the similar experience, and it was so easy to just
yeah.
put in a route and you just
Yeah, but
go.
that's the thing. It should be simple, and as I said before, the ride is the most important thing, and this helps you get more out of the ride quicker. So I'm really happy you like it. Sounds
Yeah,
cool.
I'm like now waiting when the snow gonna melt in Latvia. I
Yeah,
want to ride
exactly.
here
Same
as
here.
well. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like and we like last few days we had the most snow I think this winter.
Yeah.
We have like 15 centimeters or something, and before that it was nothing. No,
Uh,
I was like already getting ready to ride next day.
yeah. I would encourage everyone to just try it out and ride, as you said. When you experience the ride, when you have created it,
Yeah,
that's when you know how it works for you. So I think that's the just place a point and ride, and check out our YouTube tutorials,
yeah,
where we go in a slow pace, but the basics of uh, Stegra.
yeah.
Uh, and please get back to us with feedback. It's the thing that builds this uh, for our hobby
Yeah,
together.
I think it's like if you will get more people to ride and use Tegra, and
Mm,
more people will give feedback, and
yeah,
it's the interest of all of us basically that
yeah,
we will have a better navigation. Like obviously now you started this project like 2 or 3 years ago now, yeah.
yeah. We released it in our first beta version of the web planner. We released in May of 2023, so one and a half, yeah, 1.5, 2 years ago. So
So and the app is really good already now, and
yeah,
then yeah, even in like in 5 years time, like
yeah. I mean, if I'm not going to be humble, it should be crazy because, the most of this we have made in, spare time
Yeah,
on weekends and such. But now, since a while back, three of us are doing this full time, and we see the effects already. So,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it
I
can be
imagine
good.
definitely. Like when you can have the time to do it, then
Yeah,
obviously, yeah, things start to roll.
yeah, exactly.
Who do you see as the Stegra's biggest competitor?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of competitors because a lot of people are using very different apps around the world. I know there are some that uses this kind and some other that uses this kind. I think our greatest competitor right now isn't other applications. Maybe it's to challenge ourselves because there will always be competitors. It's needed not to get monopoly. It's the same with Coke and Pepsi, KTM, Yamaha,
Yeah,
and together we make the hobby and the experience better, I think. So right now we're actually not thinking so much about what others do. We try to focus on what we have in mind and our users,
yeah,
and try to make it as good as possible. And everyone has their different kind of taste, uh, niche of some sort. We try to be very simple to use, very powerful, and that's where we go. And with those combined, I don't see a competitor as such right now. But of course, there are other navigation apps.
like what would be the competitor? Like for me, I don't have anything actually that is in the same way as you guys do it. Obviously Osmond and Locus. Is there
Mm.
any apps similar to Osmond and Locus that you use in Sweden that are not? You might have like many countries have
Yeah,
different type of
yes, different.
I know
Yeah.
there's some trail running apps and things like that
Mm.
that adventure riders use. But for Latvia, I think the Locus and Osmond is the most popular ones.
Mm.
But they can do the route planning, which is kind of slow usually for
Mm.
those two apps. And they're mostly for GPX riding. You just put in the
Yeah.
GPX, pre-plan it at home, and then there is Google Maps or Waze, which is made for like on-road
Mm.
use. And
Yeah, exactly.
you can maybe put in like that you're walking and and
Yeah,
hope.
yeah, you could. Yeah,
Yeah, that would be my option. Like the competitor for Stegra would be like I would put in like I'm cycling or walking on Google Maps or Waze.
exactly. And that's about what I mean. We try to do it very niched and really try to make things work for us as riders in the same, in the adventure riding community. So that's our focus. And of course, other has that focus as well. But we try to do it very simple and powerful, and you should trust it.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
So how did it feel, for you guys? Because you're riders yourself,
Yeah.
you ride motorcycles, and like when you started to develop the app, how did it feel first time when you tried to ride it?
It was shivers, I think is the right word. It felt insane. But the coolest thing was Jimmy, he called us and said, guys, I think I've made something really cool. And it was just the first version, not beautiful at all.
Yeah,
But we said, okay, let's try it down to south of Sweden, 400 kilometers of riding, just set points and road. And we came to the cabin, which we had rented. We were like, oh my God, this is insane. To plan what we planned in 15 seconds would have taken 6 hours before.
yeah,
So that's what's so we bought a big steak from the local slaughterhouse
yeah.
and barbecued it and drank a lot of beers,
Uh,
and it was really cool actually. Yeah,
Yeah. The thing is, I think, the app, your app, it basically like it helps you save time. It helps you save
yeah,
a lot of time. Like
exactly.
I do enjoy the process of making the GPX tracks. I
Yeah,
do love the process sometimes.
yeah,
Looking at the maps and you're kind of like, I was actually like, quite skeptical about Stegra before I tried it myself. I thought like,
Yeah.
okay, it's like some AI thing, you know, some gimmick, basically
Yeah.
something. And then you try it, and you're like, oh, damn! Like there is situations where you're like, oh, I don't want to plan anything. I just want to grab my bike, ride, and
Yeah.
like now I think like the most fun part for me will be to use the Stegra app to ride my local roads,
Mm.
off-road and routes and everything, because I know already the routes. I I have been to many places, and
Yeah.
I know how to get there, and I hope it will surprise me with some different routes to get to the same spots,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you never know. It's you kind of like let the other friend lead you in the yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited. Hopefully you'll develop it and it will grow like and become yeah, a huge app.
Yeah, we
Uh,
hope so. Yeah.
yeah,
It's going the right direction. So yeah.
yeah, and I think you're doing the right thing with all of this, and I'm really excited to use it. So I'll definitely suggest to anyone who lives anywhere, right? You can use it
Yeah,
any.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely try it out. Is the app free, or do you have to?
No, you get it's not free because we need to have bread on the table.
Yeah,
But you can always try everything out without an account. But if you want to save or navigate, you need a subscription, or you can start a free trial for 7 days to try it
yeah.
out. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. But yeah, definitely try it out.
Mm.
It will be definitely worth it. And yeah, and if you don't like it, yeah, just cancel it. But I'm sure you will
Yeah,
like it.
exactly. Yeah. Just cancel and use something else. But please try it out.
Yeah, try it out.
Yeah.
Give some feedback. And yeah, how do we find you on Instagram or YouTube? You said YouTube, yeah, YouTube.
Yeah,
But
YouTube. So we are stegra.io everywhere. Instagram, YouTube, Threads. I started a TikTok account yesterday. Let's see how that goes. But everywhere,
yeah.
stegra.io. Yeah.
Cool, cool. And the one last thing, what is the
Mm.
plans for you Stegra guys for next year? Maybe like it could be like two answers for this. One is like your professional plans with Stegra,
Mm.
and the second one would be what's your plans for as riders, basically.
Yeah. Uh, as riders, we hope to ride more than we could last year, of course. We had the start of a tradition that we went on a 1 week trip trying to hit the north of Sweden.
Yeah,
Never made it because it takes a long time riding unpaved roads.
yeah,
But we hope to be able to make a trip like that this year together. And professionally for Stegra.io, we have a lot in the backlog, a lot of great user feedback that we will try to implement as much as possible, and of course grow this to be even greater and that more people can enjoy it as we ourselves do and those who use it right now.
cool, cool. So
Yeah.
thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining me, and yeah, best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, check out my other episodes and consider subscribing. Also, if you would like to get more involved and ask questions to my next guests, check out my Instagram, and there you can ask the questions to anyone who's coming up next. See you at the next one. Bye.